Wow. Now, let me just raise this a little bit. That was a CNN quality video, if I've ever seen one. Thank you so much, Eddie. That was amazing. You know, as I was listening to Rob McGee, I was thinking, you know, that guy he's talking about, he sounds pretty cool. I'd like to meet him. I'd like to talk to him because honestly, it's hard for me to sometimes believe the great things that others say about me. Now this is truly a full circle moment for me. I remember when I sat in your place many, many, many years ago. And though I remember one or two of the 4 alumni who received this award while I was here, I think one of them may be here, I'm not sure, but sadly, I don't remember all their names. So you will probably not remember mine after today, and that is okay, but I hope you remember my message. I would not be standing here today if it were not for this great educational institution. I am eternally indebted to Jesuit for shaping my mind, my heart, and my soul. I entered Jesuit with an empty bag. Though empty, it was open, and it was ready for opportunities to fill it up. After 4 years, I left with the bag filled with promise, hope, and most importantly, dreams. And to this day, this bag keeps on giving. Just today, I opened it and found this award with my name on it. At Jesuit, my mind flourished. I found a rigorous academic program that challenged my intellect, developed my critical thinking skills, and encouraged me to seek the truth through knowledge. In math, I marveled at the beauty of numbers and shapes. In history, I got lost in foreign worlds that came to life in class. In Latin, I discovered the root of my native language, Spanish. The sciences sparked an interest in the natural world around me, and physics sparked my lifelong interest in cosmology, the study of the universe, not cosmetology, which is a different study altogether. And how could I forget English? The English language gave me the keys I needed to open the doors to everything this great country has to offer. And Ms. Rowe's Honors English Seminar planted the seed for my future profession. After I retire from the law, I intend to be a writer. At Jesuit, my heart grew. It grew to embrace the world beyond my own. Our motto of being meant for others and the excellent community service program taught me to look beyond myself and to care for the well-being of others, particularly the poor. The teachers who reached out to lend me a helping hand set an example for me to follow. My whole class, who got together to buy airplane tickets so that my parents could be with me at graduation, showed me the power of caring and community. At Jesuit, my soul listened. It listened to the call that God makes to each one of us to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and shelter strangers. It listened to the universal truths of our faith. Love your neighbor as yourself, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I strive to live my life guided by these commandments. Since the age of 9, I grew up in West Dallas, a low-income community where opportunities for success are rare, where access to a high-quality education is hard to find, and where breaking the cycle of poverty takes a monumental effort. As a former undocumented immigrant, I know how it feels to live in the shadows, to be rejected and attacked by some in society, to live in fear that one day your dream of creating a better life for yourself and your family may be cut short by deportation. Being a minority, I have experienced hostile attacks on my dignity, attacks that have harmed my self-esteem and have threatened to build resentment within me. But I have also seen goodness and justice at work. I have learned from the teachings of others, and this has been just as important in defining the path that has led to where I am today. My immediate and extended family taught me to be generous and giving. I have taken to heart Jesuits' motto of being a man for others, and I have sought to live by the example and great teachings of Jesus, who is a perfect model on how to live a righteous and fulfilling life. These experiences led to my passion for serving others. They are the reasons why I became a public interest attorney. When I left Jesuit for college, I wanted to become a doctor and find a cure for AIDS. So I took some required science courses in college. But after I saw some of my grades for those courses, I thought, maybe the sciences aren't for me. I then thought of becoming a journalist. Finally, in my senior year, I seriously thought about what I wanted to do after graduation. I asked myself, what issues do I really care about? I narrowed it down to 3: immigration, education, and race relations. My top issue was immigration, in particular working with or on behalf of undocumented immigrants. Next, I asked, what do I need to do in order to make a difference in this area? I decided I needed to go to law school. It took me 4 years after graduating from college to get to law school, but I got there. In between, I worked as a district assistant for a local state representative and as a legal assistant at a big law firm. When I began the search for post-law school jobs, I decided not to apply to private law firms, even though that's where the money is. I only applied for public interest attorney positions because that's where I thought I would find a fulfilling career, one that would be true to what I learned at Jesuit and true to what my parents, aunts, and uncles taught me. My legal career has been quite fulfilling. As a workers' rights attorney at Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County, I provide free representation to low-wage workers, such as janitors, construction workers, housekeepers, garment workers, restaurant workers, factory workers, and day laborers. These workers face numerous workplace abuses, such as being paid less than what the law requires, sometimes not being paid at all. They suffer retaliation for asserting their workplace rights. Often, these people work in unhealthy and unsafe conditions that lead to injuries and illnesses, or face discrimination because of their race or national origin. In some cases, workers are actually held in involuntary servitude by their employers, which was the case with one of my current clients. My job is to increase protections for low-wage workers who have little political power and to secure just compensation for the wrongs committed against them by others. As you grow and become more aware of the world, you will find that there is a lot of suffering out there, a lot of injustice, a lot of pain, a lot of people in need of a helping hand. You will learn that the need for professionals engaged in works of love, tolerance, understanding, compassion, and justice is immense. After leaving this nest that is Jesuit, you too will have to decide the path that your adult life will take. My hope is that perhaps one of you, or even some of you, or many of you, will decide to step up and help fill the need. Getting back to that bag that I mentioned earlier, the one where I found my award, you each have one of these bags. It is up to you to make it expand, to make it impermeable, to fill it with good, constructive gifts. But you must be vigilant. Do not let the bag become porous. Do not let it waste away in darkness. Do not allow destructive forces to sneak in when your guard is down. Do not lose it. Always keep it open. Take it with you wherever you go. You never know when life is ready to toss you another gift. And you must be ready to catch those gifts, which so often come in the form of opportunities. Opportunities that sometimes come in the form of challenges. For me, those challenges came at an early age. Leaving my mother, siblings, and friends in a small town in Mexico to come to the United States as undocumented immigrants with my father was not easy. Not easy at all. But it was the opportunity for us to make a better life for our family. Crying myself to sleep at night, the first few months of being in the United States because I missed my mother was one of the most difficult times of my life. But that experience forced me to ask the most important question. For what purpose has God brought me here? Not being able to speak English when I started 5th grade at St. Mary of Carmel was difficult. But it was the opportunity to learn the language that opened the doors of academic and professional achievement. Working long hours as a teenager at my uncle's grocery store during the school year was not fun, but it taught me the value of working for a living. Going to Jesuit was also challenging. I came from a predominantly Latino elementary school located in a low-income neighborhood. At Jesuit, I was one of only a handful of Latinos. There was also a stark difference between my economic position and that of my fellow classmates, so I initially felt as if I did not belong. Fortunately, it did not take long for me to realize the opportunities that came with the challenges. I opened my bag and gifts of friendship poured in, acceptance came, belonging came. I eventually felt acknowledged as a human being. I am so proud that Jesuit has increased its enrollment of minority students since I graduated. And I hope seeing more students like themselves helps them feel a stronger sense of belonging. I continued carrying my open bag through the halls of Jesuit, and the bag kept receiving gifts: a soccer championship, a National Volunteer Award that came with a trip to DC, dinner at the state capitol, and 3 days at Disney World. Acceptance to Harvard University, and an unforgettable graduation with my parents by my side. I learned at Jesuit that no matter where you come from, No matter your wealth or your poverty, no matter your limitations, you can succeed. You can achieve your dreams. You can become a force for good. You can make a positive difference in our world. But the road to achievement is not easy. It takes sacrifice, dedication, motivation, an openness to try new things, and a willingness to fail. For often, it is through the mistakes you make in life that you learn the biggest lessons. You will no doubt encounter obstacles along your path. The climb to the mountaintop of fulfillment is steep, filled with crooked trails and dangerous precipices. But the struggle is worth it. As writer Edward Abbey aptly stated, may your trails be winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most magnificent views. At times, you will falter. You will fall. For when was anything worth achieving easy? But when you fall, remember the wise words of the Chinese philosopher Confucius. Our major glory does not consist in not having fallen, but in getting up every time we fall. I urge you to challenge yourselves, to develop to your fullest potential, to make the most of the opportunities life presents to you. Get on the difficult road to achievement. Walk the winding trails. Persevere through the darkest nights. Get up every time you fall. And as you travel through the trails and trials of life, your soul will at times experience fear. Fear of parting with material things, fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of opening your heart lest it be heard, fear of speaking in class, fear of the algebra midterm. In those times of fear, remember the words of the great hymn, "Be not afraid." Do not be afraid to cross barren deserts. God will give you water to quench your thirst. Do not be afraid to wander far in safety, even if you do not know the way. God will guide you. Do not be afraid to speak your truth in foreign lands or in the classroom. People will understand. When you follow God, He truly goes before you. Always. I cannot leave today without thanking the many people who have shown me the way and helped me through my winding trails. I am standing here because of the good deeds of many, 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 many wonderful people. For how can a poor boy from a small town in Mexico achieve his goal of making this world a better place without the help of others? So I must thank first and foremost my parents, to whom I owe an unpayable debt. I thank my father for taking the bold step of bringing me to this great country in search of opportunities. Thanks to my aunts and uncles who guided me through my teenage years. And if you bear with me, I'd like to thank them in Spanish because they don't speak English. Quiero tomar esta oportunidad para darle las gracias a mis papás y a mis tíos. A mi papá, gracias por tomar la difícil decisión de traerme a este gran país en busca de nuevas oportunidades. Quiero informarle que las he encontrado. A mi mamá, gracias por su cariño y su apoyo y por haber infectado a mi espíritu con su espíritu de generosidad. A mis tíos, gracias por sus consejos, por albergarme, por darme de comer, por ponerme en la escuela, por obligarme a levantarme temprano para ir a la escuela, por darme trabajo, por alentar mis deseos de educarme. Les estoy eternamente agradecido. A mis hermanas, gracias por apoyarme durante todos estos años. And I'd like to thank my sister Carolina and her husband Carlos for coming all the way from North Carolina. To my many cousins, thank you for staying strong and united. I am grateful for my beautiful wife Aurora, who was able to make it here today, whose courage and unwavering dedication to her third grade students inspire me to serve my clients to the best of my ability. I thank my elementary school principal, the late Sister Lucy Collins, for seeing potential in me, for encouraging me to apply to Jesuit, and for securing a scholarship so that I could actually attend Jesuit. I must thank Cheryl Rowe, who cared about my well-being in and outside the classroom, and my senior counselor, David Oglesby, who was instrumental in securing my admission to college. Thanks to all Jesuit teachers who imparted their knowledge to me, and to those teachers who wrote a letter of recommendation for me, especially Fred Donahue. Thank you, Jesuit, for this great honor. Thank you for all you have done for me. Thank you for the opportunity to stand here and gaze at this magnificent view. Thank you.